My story begins when I was a young boy.
You'll be comfy here in your mama's old room. I'd do anything for her to be here right now.
Grandma was a tough lady with a big heart. And little by little, she brought me out of my sadness.
Now if you feel that you can't go on, darling,
I didn't know it, but there was a dark shadow looming nearby.
Well, I think everybody knows Roald Dahl, the great British author, was a master of children's stories, diabolically dark but fun. And one of his best, The Witches, was previously made into a film in 1990 featuring a deliciously evil performance by Angelica Houston in the film directed by Nicholas Roeg. I don't know if the world was crying out for a remake 30 years later, but that's what we have right now. And director Robert Zemeckis has gone back to the book here for more detail, and he was a little bit closer to it, I think, in its spirit. But this one is wild and is kind of crazy as you can make a kid's movie these days. It's also kind of fearsomely, gruesome and scary at different points, too.
Witches. They're real, and they hate children.
Welcome.
What would you do if there were mice running all around this hotel?
I would call the exterminator.
You see, girls? He would exterminate those brats.
Rats. We would exterminate the rats.
The centerpiece of it all, Anne Hathaway. Yes, the Oscar-winning actress here, going so much further over the top than she ever has before, really swinging for the fences and knocking it out of the park in terms of grotesque kind of emoting here. She really takes a risk here in playing this so big, so evil. She is the grand high witch of the story here, and it's something to see, I can tell you that. For my money, I think she lays it on a little too thick with this, what sounds like a kind of Scandinavian accent. Maybe it was Russian. But she puts her all into this in such a big way that you just have to give her credit for going over this far with this role. Now, at the center of the movie, though, is a young black boy. He's an 8-year-old. His name is Jazir Bruno. He became an orphan because of a car accident and sent to live with his very sweet grandma, played so nicely here by Octavia Spencer. She takes him in and teaches him the nice things of life until an encounter in a grocery store one day with a witch, as it turns out, played by Josette Simon. Immediately, though, grandma knows what this is all about because she also has great knowledge of witches, their spells, their potions. She's had encounters before. She sees the warning signs here and decides they've got to get out of town and out of this thing to get away from these witches. And so she takes the kid and they check in to the Grand Orleans Imperial Island Hotel here, run by the manager, Stanley Tucci, who welcomes them there. Now, unfortunately for her, it's also the exact time for the convention of the International Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. This is just a front for a coven of witches having their own convention here. They, above anything else, hate children. And at this convention, they are going to talk about ways that they can turn all these children into mice. This is demonstrated with this fat little English kid, played nicely here by Cody Leigh Eastick. He's turned into a mouse while peering beneath a vent. Watching all the proceedings, unbeknownst to all the witches in the room, is the 8-year-old here who is freaked out by what he's seeing here. Well, this turns into big, big trouble. And the whole goal of all this, get back to grandma. That grandma now has to interact with these 3 mice. That's what Octavia Spencer does so well, too, and so sweetly, as she helps them to get a spell to get them back to normal.
Doesn't matter who you are or what you look like, so long as somebody loves you.
You wouldn't happen to be carrying around a mouse on your person? Now, would you?
A mouse. Why on earth would I be carrying around a mouse?
All of this builds to a big crescendo, which is hard to believe because Hathaway starts on this level and goes to this level in terms of emoting. And, you know, again, I'm going to give her props for even attempting this. This is a big movie, a big gift, I think, for kids in the audience. Will certainly keep their attention. And once they get beyond all the hijinks and all the histrionics of the first half, it turns into a compelling little adventure story with these three little mice. Production values are through the roof. They're exceptional here. So for the witches, if you're a kid, you're going to be in hog heaven, especially if you're a Roald Dahl fan. So I say watch.